Hey guys, how are we going today? Hope we're all having a lovely day. I'm back for another mascara comparison video. So I know I haven't done one of these in a long time and my posting lately has been very spotty and delayed. I do apologise. But until recently I have been back using my favourite Essence Volume Stylist. This is the Curl and Hold one. Absolute favourite. It is always very difficult for me to remove this, and I usually do always find that I have a bit left over the next day that's just worn off through the night that I just haven't managed to get. But I'm comparing it today to the Covergirl Lash Blast Fusion. I picked this one up just after Christmas, I think just before Christmas, sometime in December when I got rid of my last mascara. I'm pretty sure I've been using this one for about 3 months when I stopped using it. So I have been using the new one for about 2 weeks now, but I've just been too busy to do the comparison. So I'm gonna give them a go. Obviously I'm wearing makeup but not mascara, and silly me, I did put on eyeshadow beforehand, so when I take them off tonight you will be able to see that, but you know, thankfully I realized before I put too much on. So let's go in with the wands. Right off the mark, huge wand. I'm not really a fan of it, so I guess compared to my last few comparison videos, I do have a little bit of experience using this one now, which is really good because I'm actually able to compare them a bit better. And the fact that it's not a new mascara now, I've been using it for a couple of weeks, so it will be more of a more even comparison using 2 mascaras that, you know, have both been open for a little while and have had a chance to dry out. So can definitely tell you right away that this wand from the Essence is definitely my favorite. It is slightly curved and it has smaller bristles on the inside and bigger ones on the outside, which I love. Just in general, it is a bit smaller. It's not nearly as chunky, and I have found it easier to get in the very tiny little outer lashes and little lashes as well. Now I always forget which eye I do my old mascara on and which eye I do the new mascara on. I'm pretty sure I always do the new one on this side. So I'm going to go in with the Covergirl on my right eye. Let's move stuff aside so I don't knock it over. Scoot you in and bring my mirror in. Let's go in. So just going to swirl it around, get a good bit on there. You know, it seems to have a pretty good stopper in it. There's not heaps of excess product on the wand there. Already you can see I've gotten mascara on my eye, which is why I hate big wands. Just trying to make sure I get the very ends of the lashes. It's one thing I have noticed is that it seems to go on the mid-length okay, but trying to get it on the very ends of the lashes is a bit of a pain. And the more you go in with it, the more the lashes clump together. I'm going to try and just separate these a little bit. Yeah, and see it's clumped right up there again. And clumped together on the outside again. Off the bat, I can tell you it's definitely a runnier formula. So it's not quite as waxy and thick as the Essence. Having such a big wand it just makes things so difficult. And look, I don't mind big ones sometimes, but the bristles on this are so tiny. Like, I'm gonna have to move my mirror. My camera, like the lens is having a hard time focusing on the bristles. They're so tiny compared to like the size of the wand. They could have made the center part of the wand a little bit tinier and the bristles slightly longer. Because you can see it's so difficult, and you're basically having to use the flat wand with no bristles on it, like just a nubby stick, to get it on the lashes. That'll do. I'm not going to fiddle around too much more, otherwise it's going to end up everywhere. So just going back in with this one. Now, it has been a few weeks since I used this. Oh, I'd forgotten about this. These don't have a very good stopper in the end, so I always find I have to wipe off the excess. Like, you can see how clumpy that is on there. And I'm hoping this one hasn't dried out too much. I'm probably going to end up with really itchy eye tonight, because when this one gets old, and I've had it open for about 3 months, it tends to irritate my eyes a little bit. And even when I stopped using this about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I could feel it was starting to irritate it then. But I much prefer that brush. I mean, like I said, the formula is a little bit drier. But you can see when I blink, like, it's going all the way through to the ends. Definitely a little bit clumpier on this side. Well, from what I can see, I'm just kind of focusing on one eye at the moment. But there are definitely some chunks of mascara in there. I'd say just because it is a little bit older. I'm sorry, my lights keep dimming. I don't know what it is. Alright, I don't see any that has smeared up here, but I've definitely smeared some along the lash line, if you can see it there. Which I'll wait and then kind of fix that up. I don't know why I moved that. Let's bring it back in. I can definitely tell right out, this side is definitely a little bit more clumpy, but it's because it's fairly old. But I kind of like that sometimes. Like, I like it. It makes it seem like they're more voluminous. And you can definitely see that the mascara on this eye has gone all the way to the very ends of my lashes. Whereas the Covergirl side, it doesn't look nearly as dark on the ends. So I know which one is my favorite. I just wish I'd kind of used a fresh tube for the start of this one. So So I'm going to give those a couple of minutes to set. I'm going to give them a bit of a brush through just to get rid of the scary clumpiness. And I'm going to check in later and see how they compare removing them. And we're back for the check-in and removal of the mascara. So it has been a long afternoon and night, and surprisingly my eyes are actually doing all right. So I'm going to go in with my simple micellar cleansing water that I usually do, my reusable things like I normally use. But first, before we do, I want to scooch the camera in a little bit just so I can show you how it's looking after a few hours on. So boop, boop, boop. First thing I've noticed is the kind of clumpy, more full, I don't know, thickened side of my Essence mascara is still there. Like, it looks a lot thicker than the other side as well, and it appears that it you know, has stuck around a fair bit. One thing I have noticed is that right here on this side in particular, the Covergirl mascara has really worn off quite a lot, and that was where I noticed that I have the issues when I first put it on, that it's almost like it doesn't seem to go to the very ends of my lashes. So you can see, you know, there's still a few here that you can see, but it is mainly the outside lashes you can see. Like, there's barely any there that you can see, whereas this side there's still quite a lot there. Same with the lower lashes as well. You can see that there's clearly a lot more here than there is on the other side. But, you know, that's probably just because the Covergirl one is a lot runnier and, well, not a lot runnier, but more liquid. And the Essence does have that, you know, waxy kind of base. So let's get into this, see how they remove. I think we'll just still go in one eye at a time. Otherwise, I'm just going to look real weird sitting here taking off both sides of my mascara and not really doing anything. I suppose this will be a good test as well. I don't think I've ever actually taken off the Covergirl mascara with my usual micellar water. Normally I just use a cleanser that I have in the shower or some other random eye makeup remover. So that's one pass there. Can clearly see that there's a fair bit of eyeshadow and foundation on that one as well. Let's go in with this one. I forgot to count how many seconds I had holding it over the other one. I'm sorry, it's been a long day. That seems about right. And one swipe there. So we definitely know that the Covergirl comes off a lot easier. I'm going to give this side a second swipe. Kind of got to get in and smush it in there. Oh, I don't think I checked that. Okay, one thing I know that I mentioned right before I know that I noticed right before I started filming was there were a lot of flakes around here on this side, which I think was why there didn't appear to be much mascara left on the inside, because it had all flaked off. And that is one thing I have noticed. 2 swipes, definitely coming off easier, but is that always a good thing? I mean, I know the Essence is really tricky to remove sometimes, and look, it smears everywhere. But it doesn't give me any other issues. I like the wand. I mean, yes, it's a little bit tricky sometimes because you have to wipe so much off to start with, and it can be difficult to remove. But it's just great. I just love it. I don't know why. I've tried so many other mascaras, but I just keep going back to this one. I really like it. I do prefer it. I like the brush. Yeah, the wand shape, the bristles. Oh, here we go. It's finally started. Well, not finally, but we can see that it's starting to get more off this side. I mean, it's a little bit tricky to remove, but it's so long wearing. And I'm pretty sure that it was like half the price of the Covergirl one. I'm pretty certain the Covergirl one cost me like $12, maybe $15. And the Essence cost like $6 or $7. For something I'm having to replace every 3 months, I, would prefer not to spend an absolute fortune on it, which is why I don't use any high-end mascaras. And see, it does come off. I mean, it just needs a little bit of love. Let me bring my mirror in so you can see how the other one's going. But even then you can see I have, mascara smudged up here. There's still some underneath here as well. Those little flakes really annoy me. I mean, it might be a little more fiddly to apply, a little more fiddly to take off, but it looks better throughout the day, and I don't come home after a long day out and find that I have black flecks all over my face. So that's definitely one thing I'm grateful for with the Essence. I mean, the Covergirl does have its benefits. The formula is a lot thinner. It doesn't look as chunky and clumpy, which, depending on what you like, that might be the kind of look that you're into. I kind of like somewhere in between where it's, it gives me that volume, it gives me that definition. You can see my lashes, but that's the point. I want to be able to see my lashes. When I put the Covergirl on, I can see it all in the base of the lashes, but it doesn't extend out to the ends, and I think that that is the brush. The wand is, the barrel is too thick, the bristles are too small and too sparse. I'm all for having a big wand, but you need a lot of bristles on there. So that's it. I'm, pretty happy with that. Let me bring up my sides so you can see how it is. And, this side we have my Covergirl, this side we have my Essence. And the backs of them as well. I would like to point out that you can see that majority of the Covergirl came off in one swipe, but the amount of product on here would be the same as what's on here and spread out more. And when you turn them over, there is clearly a lot more product on the Essence side as well. And I'm going to put this down to the wands. The wand on the Covergirl mascara does not put enough product on my lashes. So it depends on what you like, what you're into in a mascara, what you're into in the brush, but I think once again my winner is the Essence. So if you're interested in these videos, please feel free to comment down below, like, subscribe, all the usual YouTube things. But until then, I'll talk to you next time.